Hello and welcome to the NC Podcast. My name is Natasha Collins and I am the host and founder of NC Real Estate, which includes its members club for landlords and property investors to come and build profitable property portfolios that completely align with their goals. Before we get started today, I have to let you know about 2 freebies which you guys need to have. If you haven't got it already, you have to go and get it. Number 1, my master spreadsheet, which is a spreadsheet that you can use to manage your property portfolio from wherever you are. Trust me, when I'm abroad, I have this one spreadsheet, a Skype phone line on my computer, and my MacBook, which fits in my handbag, and that is what I run my property portfolio from. So if you want that, go to ncrealestate.co.uk/master spreadsheet. I'm going to put that link in the show notes below. And number 2, you need my free working paper, COVID-19 and property investment in the UK. I am updating this regularly with all of the research that I'm doing on what's going on in the industry, how you can make sure that you can still rent out your property where necessary, what you can do to minimize costs, anything else that you need to know about property investment right now. So head on over to ncrealestatemembersclub.com/COVID-19. Again, that link is going in the show notes below. So do use these resources. I don't just put them out there for fun. I actually put them out there for you to use. So do make sure that you go and download that. Right. Let's get into today's show. Today, I'm very excited. I've got Laura Muse from I Squared Property with me. Laura has an extensive sales and marketing background and is the face of the company. Investors, relationships, funding, property acquisition, property management are her key areas in I Squared Property. Laura also co-hosts PPN Leamington Spa and is a public speaker, as well as the host of the podcast, the Social Propertyprenuer Podcast. I just butchered that, Laura. I'm sorry.
That is a mouthful.
Say the name of your podcast, Propertyprenuer. I'm terrible.
Propertypreneur.
I can barely say entrepreneur, so...
I'm struggling. I've got an accent, so don't worry.
Welcome to the NC Podcast, Laura. It is a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. So today we are going to be going through investing in property via social media, which is more topical than ever. More topical.
Yes. 100%.
We are in strange times. And being online is something that we just have to deal with on a daily basis because that's our new normal, right?
Yes.
Can I ask you first, though, how are you doing with COVID-19? How is everything in property? Like, everything okay? Have you seen anything go wrong, or are things all right?
For us, not a lot's changed. I'm going to be really honest. We have our lettings and management company for our own properties and our investors. So we are literally just speaking to our tenants a lot more regularly, open line of communication. We haven't had anyone who said they're not paying anything. They're happy to pay something. And that's only happened with one that's gone out of the country. So at the moment, we're okay. Obviously, as next month comes, I'm sure that might change slightly, especially because we've got a few commercial units, as in like a sweet shop, and they need footfall in store. Mm-hmm. So that might change slightly, but we're not overly worried because obviously we can put a payment plan in place, and we know that they will pay that back, because when we screen our tenants, we go into quite a lot of depth. In regards to purchasing properties, so we've still got quite a few going through conveyancing. So that hasn't really changed. We may be slowballing that slightly just for our own benefit. We've still got refurbs going on. So we've got a buy-to-let refurb going on at the moment. So we've got one trade going in at a time. And then we've got a new build development, which that's pretty in front of schedule, to be honest. We might struggle once we get up to the roof. But apart from that, apart from spending a lot more time in the house, things haven't really changed for us. And obviously we do a lot on social media, so we're very digital in our business. Yep. So if we weren't, maybe there would be a bigger shift in what we're doing, but because we were kind of there anyway. We've just been able to tweak it and fine tune it and make it a little bit more fluent. So yeah, not a lot's changed for us, I'm not going to lie.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. So let's go back to the start. Why did you get involved in property?
Oh, long or short version. So 2015, unfortunately I lost my mum and a couple other members of my family, separate instances, but unfortunately that happened. And for us, me and James, my husband, he had a very large renewable energy business in Sheffield, where we are in the UK, and it took a lot of his time working very long hours. I had a very high-pressured sales and marketing job for an equestrian retailer. So we used to work with the US and Australian offices as well. So really high-pressured job, working way too many hours, and the realisation of losing quite a few family members in a very short period of time was actually we haven't been able to spend that time with them because we've been working, and it wasn't really what we wanted to do going forward. So 2016 we had our little girl, Isabel, so she's nearly 4, and we just thought something's got to give, we've got to change something in his lives. We had a few properties already, which my husband had acquired 2 just normal buy-to-lets, and then during 2015, whilst I fell pregnant, he did a new build project, which was 2 shops and 2 flats. As well as us trying to run businesses, obviously I took early maternity leave, and it was just too much. So he sold out his business, we took a chunk of money from that, and then we just started, he went first, should I say, so he kind of 2016 went into property full time. The idea was to go into developments, that's what his plan was. I didn't really know too much about property at that point, I was just stood there kind of holding on these tailcoats, saying, yeah, this is a great idea. And I was very passionate about my background, which was the equestrian trade. So I set up my own business while I was on maternity leave, and thought, yeah, this is exactly what I want to do. 2018 come, we hadn't started the new build project. We had a realisation that actually we've wasted about 18 months, well, 12 to 18 months here with planning. So we'd not even acquired planning on the new build project. So like I said, the buy-to-lets that we already had was not enough to support our income. Luckily, we had savings. 2018 in September, I decided that I was away from home too much with my new venture. I thought having my own business, I'd be working more convenient hours. That was not the case. So September 18, we both sat down one night and said, right, what are we going to do? The next day I shut my business down. We both started working in property together. I went and did some property training. The great thing about my husband is he's been in the industry for a long time, as in prior to doing it full time. He's an electrician by trade and has had multiple businesses in Sheffield. So I literally went out with him to refurbs, costing up refurbs, learned as much on the ground as possible. And that's kind of where it started from, really. The old, probably cliche, time and money.
Yeah, amazing. So what strategy have you used to build your property portfolio?
So like I say, originally it was going to be new builds, but obviously we all know with that it's a little bit feast and famine. So we kind of went back to basics, and over the last 12 months, we've just focused on buy-to-lets. We've got a couple of, so we've got 1 mini HMO in that portfolio, but the rest are all buy-to-lets. So we bought 9 last year, plus the HMO, and that's really got our cash flow where it needs to be. We chose that because we like it. It's a set and forget. We didn't want to create ourselves a new job, and we really didn't feel that buy-to-lets would do that. Don't get me wrong, we got attracted by the shiny penny, serviced accommodation, HMOs, but you know, once we'd tried both of them strategies, we just knew going forward the lifestyle we wanted, buy-to-lets was the way to go for us.
And so how you've raised the money for doing a lot of these projects from investors, right?
Yeah. So I started in the business September 18, March 19. We didn't have any we had one investor that was in the family basically to fund some of the projects. But we obviously had a chunk of money ourselves, but as we all know, it gets tied up in legals, waiting for completion, etc. So we used our money very quickly and we didn't want it to stop. So we had to think of something else. And that's why we kind of took the leap out, or should I say I did, and started going on social media, telling people about our business to raise money for our journey, really.
So what platforms, firstly, do you use on social media? What's your main platforms?
My go-to is Facebook.
Okay.
It's where the thing I loved about Facebook is obviously it was my native platform, so to speak. So I've grown up with it from uni. The other ones at the start are a little bit overwhelming. Like, you know, I've been on LinkedIn for years, but never really used it. Instagram, I couldn't work out why I couldn't log on from a laptop. I had to do it from a phone. So I just focused purely on Facebook to start off with. And the greatest power I found from that was community groups. So property groups, being able to post into them was really kind of what built up my personal brand, us as a business in our area, and created the investment opportunities, really. So Facebook for me was, and still is, to be fair, the go-to one.
And so how do you attract investors to want to invest in your deals?
So when I first started on social media, so just over a year ago now, I didn't really know what to post. Many people who I speak to now, because obviously we have a training arm of our business, which is social media for property investors. And the main thing is content. So I started trying a few bits of content that I thought might work. Some of it got engagement, some of it didn't. But the critical thing I found was actually telling people about the projects that we were working on. So social proof. And what I do find is a lot of people in any industry may say they're doing something, but there's no proof to back it up. And for me, that's what really built up our know, like, and trust, is because people were buying these projects, they were seeing a weekly update, they were seeing how long it was taking us for us to turn them around and tenant them, but they were also seeing the quality of work. So really instilling confidence in them that we could fulfill what we were saying we were going to do. So that was the critical thing for us, was the social proof.
And can I just ask, just for anybody out there who thinks that these things happen overnight, how long did it take you to build your brand on social media? From like, how many posts do you reckon you had to do before?
I
put you on the spot there, but let's just unearth the reality of this, because it's not, you don't just post one post, right?
No, so I really went into it kind of feet first. I posted every day for 30 days on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram.
Amazing.
So that was obviously every day, 3 posts, personal and business pages. So probably 5 posts a day for 30 days.
Wow.
Really trying to build it up as much as I could. Plus, obviously, on top of that, posting into community groups, because you can't obviously pre-schedule things into there. So yeah, probably 5-6 posts a day.
Okay. And were you repurposing the same post, or are you putting different posts on different platforms?
When I first started, it was different posts. I wasn't, my background in marketing, but because it was something I'd always known, i.e. it was equestrian, whereas this was property.
Yeah.
And I wasn't quite sure what was going to get the engagement and what wasn't. So it really was just trial and error. But after 4 or 5 weeks, I kind of knew what was going to work and what wasn't. And then I just started using evergreen content, could repurpose it onto different platforms. And now, we're trying to build up the YouTube side of our business. Obviously, that's huge. But really, video for me is always live video in Facebook is what's really generated the reach and the interaction from people.
Amazing.